Proactive Health and Wellness. My name is Angie, and I want to take a moment and again address how our bodies acclimate different to activation. And this time I'm going to really speak specifically to our mind-body GLP-1 activator. So, and it's an activation system. It's a two-part activating system. One part is direct activator, and the other is an indirect activator. And both of those are essential, and they work together to kind of spur on or turn on your body's ability to manufacture and regulate that GLP-1 hormone, as well as the other hormones in the gut-brain axis, like PYY, DPP4, and PPK. Those are all different hormones that are part of that whole communication process. And all of us have them a bit out of whack because of what we're exposed to in our world, and also because of the state of our body. So as we have different processes going on in our body due to the different exposures that we all have kind of different imbalances in those gut hormones, right? So when people start, there's all different reactions. There's all different results in the beginning. And just like with our other activators, it's really, really normal for some people to have really great results really fast. It's also really, really normal for some people to have a little bit like of discomfort. So I don't want to say bad results, but it's a discomfort in adapting to that process of producing what you need and regulating it where it should be. And then there's also a really, really normal response of balance of feeling nothing, like, oh, I just don't even feel anything. It doesn't feel like anything is happening. And all of those are good, and all of those are normal. And I know that's hard to say because we love results, and people who are getting fast results are the loudest people, except for sometimes the people who are feeling the most discomfort. And it's uncomfortable actually to see other people losing a lot of weight and feeling different, all those things right in the beginning, and you don't feel anything. But I want you to know you're normal if you don't feel anything. And I want you to know, even if you've gained a little weight on it, or even if you feel like you're eating more, that's normal. And so there's a few reasons behind that, and I just wanted to talk about it. So one is your body's getting acclimated to the process of activation, and your body's getting acclimated to the downregulation of certain hormones that have been running amok, literally like DPP4. It's been overexpressed. It's been hurting you. And that there's some adaptation that it takes to in that downregulation process, and then upregulating GLP-1 unless you had overexpressed, and then you're downregulating. And so there is just some adaptation that it takes, and some of you are more off balance than others. So as you can imagine, if you were just a little off balance and you become activated, you might see results really, really fast. And if you were like a lot imbalanced, if you were so depleted of GLP-1, it might take some time to gain some steam. We know you're gaining ground. It just may not be enough to feel like anything yet. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. And it's kind of like when you're building muscle. Sometimes you work out one time and you feel so strong and you think that hurt so much and I worked my muscles so much. But then when you test that, you're like, oh man, I'm not as strong as I want to be yet. I guess I don't totally have those results yet. So you're building something and balancing something, and a lot of it depends on the state of your body. But I want to talk about that too, because some of us really feel like we know the state of our body. And in a way we do. Like I would say I'm really, really in tune to my body. And that's been a process through the years for me to really be intentional about feeling how my body reacts to certain things and the state of my body. However, I do have an understanding that a lot happens inside of my body that is a mystery. And as much as we feel like we know what we've got, even when we just had labs done, there are such an enormous amount of labs that we could have done that your doctors will never order because they're not associated with a disease process and insurance won't cover it, right? But there's so many more things in our body that could be tested in labs. And if you don't have specific symptoms, you're not even having certain labs ordered because insurance isn't going to cover those. And the only reason I bring up these things is because as much as I know my body, I do understand that it's still a mystery to me. And I can say that I'm going to give you a couple examples. My son CJ, whose story is on this page, so if you want to see more of his story, you can just search CJ and you'll find it, or maybe the word baseball, it'll show up. But my son CJ is my oldest son, and he was playing Division I baseball at Indiana State. Like, he was in the shape of his life. He was, 20 years old and just rocking out with life. If someone asked me about CJ's health, I would have said perfect health. He's in incredible shape. He's in better shape than most of us. He had like a drill sergeant type coach that worked his kids out so much that, they ran so hard they puked. Like, it was hardcore sports training. And again, I would have answered a minute before I got a phone call. I would have said, CJ is in perfect health. But I got a phone call that he had overproduced that muscle from throwing, his subclavius muscle from his throwing arm. He was an outfielder who threw 95 from the outfield to home. So really overworked arm, and it pinched off blood supply to his collarbone. And he clotted, his whole arm clotted. He almost lost his arm, and then the blood clot broke and went into his lungs, and he had a pulmonary embolism, almost killed him. And so I went from being able to say that my son was in perfect health, and I knew his body, and so did he, to the next minute not knowing if he was going to live. So our bodies are mysteries. There's more going on. I have another friend and colleague who in LifeVantage who is just a wonderfully healthy person, and she got labs and found out she had a grapefruit-sized tumor. It didn't feel like anything. So that was a mystery when it was an orange-sized tumor, and it was a mystery when it was a lemon-sized tumor and a prune-sized tumor and an almond-sized tumor. She didn't know that it was there until it was a grapefruit-sized tumor, and even then she didn't know until the labs came back. So those aren't to be scary things. I just want to say there's a lot happening, first of all, in our body that we don't feel, and our bodies are mysteries. So as much as we want to say, I'm sure that my GLP-1 hormone is not as depleted as so-and-so's, you actually don't know. And so your results as you get activated with this are kind of telling. So if you, first of all, if you aren't feeling anything at first, and if you're gaining, but let's start with if you're not feeling anything at first, there is a lot happening, but it might be starting from almost like a negative place. Instead of even a ground zero, we might be starting lower than that. You might be very, very depleted, and you may be very, very overexpressed. Because even if you're not very, very depleted in GLP-1, which you'd have to be if you're overexpressed in DPP-4, and you can't sustain GLP-1 until we start getting that DPP-4 down. Because DPP-4, if you can picture, it's like a little Pac-Man eating away your GLP-1. So again, that's why some people are feeling a really slow start and aren't feeling as much movement. And if you're experiencing, like if you're famished or if you're not hungry at all, that's not what's happening is as your body gets balanced, your body is going to be craving what it's needing. So if you're feeling that you're needing to eat more, your body probably needed more nutrients, and it's probably crying out for that, and it wants you to eat that. And that is, believe it or not, that might be the exact way that you need to kickstart this balance. And if you are actually gaining a little weight at first, there's some water weight that happens with fiber. So I want you to remember that the enhanced part of mind body is very, very, very fiber rich. And so again, we encourage people to measure, but I don't even want to put such an importance on that, because if you're not seeing inches come off, even with even with weight gain or weight regulation and not weight loss, your body is starting to produce what it needs, and it's just taking a little time. You got to give it a little time, basically. So I want to encourage you, and I want you to know if you're frustrated because you put on 2 pounds instead of losing and you wanted to drop it, just like, the other people, no, like, you're not alone. everyone's body is so unique. And everyone's body is starting this at day one from very, very, very unique and different places. And your body has experienced very unique and different things from other people. And I know this is a phrase everybody wants to get really sick of, but I encourage you to trust the process and look around this page and look at the science and look at the studies and look at the things that we can say that when we do something, when we're activating pathways in your body, that's what we know. We know how to activate them right and well and powerfully. But your body knows what it needs in the meantime. The other thing is, if you feel like you don't want to eat at all when you get on this, that is your body probably saying and this is just me pretending I'm your body. This is your body saying to you, like, we need a break from some food right now. Like what we need to come into balance is to not eat for a hot minute. And it's like your body kind of instigating like a natural fasting, which is pretty normal in humanity. We should have times when our bodies don't need to eat, but this product doesn't make you not eat. Like as you become balanced, you are going to feel hunger when your body needs food, and you're going to be drawn to the foods that fuel you. Not so much the foods that just reward you. You're going to be drawn to those healthier foods that are nutrient rich without thinking about it, and that's what we're noticing most of all is people are recognizing that I'm really hungry, but I feel like I talked to someone yesterday who said, it's so weird. I just feel like having broccoli, and that's not really me, but that's what I'm craving. And so that sort of thing happens instead of munching on chips and like empty calories, munching on those things or having ice cream or Halloween candy. I think one of the biggest phenomenons for people is to go through Halloween and not be picking at the Halloween candy. It's really funny to hear people. And we've seen that definitely around our house as well. So anyway, if you have questions about this, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm so happy to talk with any of you. And I just want to encourage you, trust the process. Allow your body to be uniquely you, and allow your body to show you exactly what you need to become balanced in your gut-brain axis. Have a great day.